Well, so my thing, I used to go to the gym. That was my place. I would go in the morning. That was just part of my morning routine. I won't lie, the first few weeks of quarantine were a struggle. I did not work out. I was eating. I don't think I was able to get a lot of things at during my time allowed at the grocery store. So there were like days I was eating funnel cake because I know how to make funnel cake at home.
Hey, welcome to Travel Tuesday Happy Hour, where we interview dope people doing dope things from around the world. And today we have an amazing guest. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Karami. Most people call me Mimi. I am a third year medical student and I love to travel.
Awesome, awesome. So, what are you going to school for?
Medicine, hopefully to be a pediatrician. That's the end goal.
Pediatrician. So, things have changed a little bit since the last time we talked.
Yes, they have. I found myself more gravitating towards children and childcare and things of that nature. So I figured I might as well follow where my life is leading me.
So, what's led you to that? Like, what's changed you from your initial trajectory to now?
Well, I noticed that wherever I go, children tend to be drawn to me, and it's easy for me to carry on a conversation per se with a child. Like I feel they have something important to say, even if we don't find it important, they feel it's important, and I'm able to communicate with children and make them feel like what they're saying is important. And I noticed that a lot of other people find difficulty with doing that or get frustrated easily when it comes to children. And I'm not one of those people. So I always loved children. So I figured might as well incorporate that into my life's work.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, my sister's a pediatrician, so I definitely understand. So what got you into traveling in the first place?
Well, I always traveled growing up, just from state to state. I grew up mostly in Florida, was raised a bit in Boston, went back and forth, and throughout my life, I traveled with my family. But it was really this school that gave me the opportunity to be able to travel more because their program is not just based within the United States. So we have the option to go elsewhere, get a different look at life, different environment, rather. And I took the opportunity when it arose.
Nice. And so, what was your first travel experience? Like, do you remember way back when your first travel experience?
Um, Honestly, my first, no. I was told about my first, I was an infant, but I
Okay.
would say the most significant travel experience of my life when I was younger was going to China. I went to
Nice.
China when I was 13 with my mom, and it was an amazing experience just being there, being in a place that I never imagined that I would ever go. It was awesome. Just even the food, seeing what they eat, and completely different from what we know to be Chinese food. But it
Right.
was amazing.
So now at 13, was this like planned out, or she was just like, look, this summer we're going to China, or like what was it? Is a conversation that led up to this?
Well, not with me. Yeah, the conversation wasn't with me. I kind of just found out that's where we were going. But it was through her work, and one of her clients, they wanted to, I guess, thank her for all the work that she did as their attorney and paid for us to go. Because as you know,
Nice.
as a single parent, she's always been hustling and working and all that. So um, I am I
There
am
you
so
go.
sorry about that.
It's
Um,
okay.
yes, yeah. So she was always working, And this was just an opportunity for them to show her that they appreciated all the work that she did for them on their case. And because I was her forever plus one, I got the opportunity to go too.
Nice, nice. Now, from that point forward, do you want to like set you up on a computer? Do you want to give you some more time?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to my tablet if that's okay.
That's fine. We can take a pause break real quick.
Okay, I apologize. I don't understand why people
No,
are
no problem. We
calling
don't
so
want to
much.
portray you of having a Teddy Riley type of scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Hold on, I'm just pulling it up on this side. Mm, Okay, we could actually stay here. I put everything on Do Not Disturb. We're all good.
All right, awesome, awesome.
Uh,
So, what were you saying? Oh, you're
Um,
forever plus one.
yes, I was her forever plus one, so I was given the opportunity to go with her, and it was again just a surreal experience being somewhere across the world that I never, especially at the age of 13, thought I would ever go, let alone at such a young age. So that also inspired my love for traveling, just being in a different culture, in a different environment, getting to broaden my horizons and broaden my knowledge of other people and their lifestyle and their everyday challenges or desires, whatever that case may be.
Okay, okay. And so, did you guys travel a lot when you were younger? I mean, you alluded to that earlier. Outside of the Florida to Boston, did you guys do anything else, like anywhere else, really?
Myself, we did a lot of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Uh, was our kind of domain, do differently with the cruise, but every now and then we would stay longer and explore. Haiti for sure, we did go. Um, However, it was mostly my mom. She would travel more because of work, but seeing her travel made me want to explore the world too. She would go to, for example, Brazil and come back and tell me about it. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want to go to Brazil. Like that's on my list now to go to. Or she would go, I don't know, she's gone to Europe and just like that's somewhere I want to go to. Just different places, seeing her being able to travel so much and where she took me as much as she could just made that love for travel so much more.
Okay, okay. And so, like, do you have like a top five places you visit so far?
Let's see. Top five would be Aruba. Um, I would say Colombia, Haiti, of course. Um, China definitely was a great experience, and Hawaii.
Nice, nice. I'm
Yeah,
actually going to Aruba this week, so I'm excited.
nice.
I'm excited. So
Yeah.
what keeps you wanting to explore different places? What drives you to want to say, all right, this week or this month or this year, I want to travel to these places?
Um, for me, I think it's the experience of the last trip, engaging with the locals and getting to know like their lifestyle. It's just like, okay, what's next? How are people living in this next location that I want to visit? How are things there? Or what is their day to day life? Because I do love, vacationing and getting to like relax in a hotel and chill out. But I also like to just be among the people and just vibe out with them and see like what their life is like because being from Miami, The Miami that people come to visit during spring break, summer, that is not the Miami that we're in. Like, it's not the same thing whatsoever. So, having that mentality already when I go elsewhere, I'm just like, I already know this vacation life is not your life. So, I want to know what your life is. And it just continues for every location that I go, every place that I plan to go. I just want to know, like, what's your life like here? You know?
Nice, nice. I need Mimi's guide to the local travel. I'm waiting for that to drop.
Yeah, for sure. I got you.
So do you do a lot of solo traveling, or do you do like group onesie, twosie group travels, or larger group travels?
Mostly solo. Every now and then I'll do small group, like with a few friends. I've never actually done the large group like travel where there are things planned for you to do. Never done that. I actually do want to do that at some point. Um, but yeah, no, it's typically small groups or just myself. I like to get lost in the country. Well, not actually lost, but like
Right, right. So that actually leads me to the next question that I'm gonna ask is, as a woman of color traveling solo, do you feel safe? Right? You say you living in Miami. Miami's a different world, especially off the vacationing spots, right?
yeah.
Boston is complete opposite of Miami, and you can kind of feel some of the looks and the talks and the stuff like that. When you travel, do you feel safe? Do you feel as though that you're treated the same way that a woman of color would be treated here in the United States?
It depends on the place.
Okay.
I would say for Barbados, for example, I think I was treated so much better. I feel like I was more free to be out and
Mm,
not always be worried about, is someone like following me, or is there someone going, or am I going to be in danger by myself in this location? That fear was not as prevalent. Um, I would say potentially, and again, in speaking for Barbados, because the island is so small, the everybody tends to know each other and they're looking out for you if they know who you are. So there would
got
be
it.
times that I could be like walking to the grocery store and someone will like honk in their car and it's someone I know. And they'll text me like, hey, I saw you. Do you need a ride? Like, is there something that you need? They're always looking out for you. And I see that in most other countries that I visit, the people there look out for each other. Whereas
Nice.
here, where what I notice as a difference is in the US, we're very much about convenience, which is something that I did miss so much while I was gone. But with that convenience, we don't have as much of like the familial help or familial assistance that you would find, excuse me, in other countries where they don't have those conveniences. So they have to come together to make things easier. And that gave a sense of safety for me.
Okay.
And never, there were times I would be out.
Okay. Okay. So
Mhm.
as far as COVID, right? Where were you when the world shut down?
I was in my apartment in my room in Barbados studying for an exam. We had 48 hours before the exam, and we got notification that we also had 48 hours to get food because they were locking the place down completely. Stores were going to be closed, streets were going to be closed. If you were outside and it wasn't your turn to be outside, you were liable to get arrested. It was intense. Granted, I appreciate the measures that they took because the sense of lockdown was done within like a month and a half. They're over
Mm,
there living normally and not really concerned about COVID as much. Granted, people
mm,
are wearing masks religiously. Sanitizing and temperature checks are mandatory for any establishment that you walk into.
mm.
But the urgency of the immediate lockdown was intense. Going to the grocery store, it was like, again, 48 hours for the entire country to find food and things and provisions before they shut down. So it's just lines and lines of people outside of grocery stores. I think my friend Lydia and I, we went to at least three grocery stores before settling on one because the line appeared shorter than everywhere else. And we ended up still spending 3 hours in line before getting food, all while studying for an exam, like in the line. So
Wow.
it was an intense experience, but it's a good story to tell.
It is. And so how was life impacted once shutdown occurred?
For the most part, it wasn't too bad. I was already home most of the day anyway. I studied from home. But once, you take the exam and you're ready to go out and you know that you can't, like not going out wasn't the issue, but just knowing that we couldn't go out, like there was
Mhm.
nowhere to go. Entertainment already is pretty limited. Like in the States, I feel like we're force fed entertainment. It's everywhere. You go somewhere, there's something to do all the time. But over there, you essentially create your own fun. And if things aren't open, there's not much to work with except what you have in your home or if you can get to the beach. So after a while, that's what we ended up doing. Whenever we were free, we went to the beach just to have something to do. And yeah, it we there was definitely a shift in how we went about our lives. Um, Going to the grocery store just because you like forgot that one thing that you want to eat, that was not happening anymore. Um, there's no more like ordering food, really ordering prepared food because a lot of the restaurants were shut down. Then they didn't even have like delivery service yet, as far as like Instacart or things to get you groceries at home. So it took about a month after lockdown for them to put those measures into place. So after that, delivery and all of those things made quarantine easier since you didn't have to venture out and do anything. It was tough at first, but after a while it was fine. Lockdown for the most part was lifted. We did have like curfew, but
Mhm.
other than that, it was great. It was like people found ways to make it fun. They had like little speakeasies everywhere. um,
Oh,
People were hiding from like the police. They would have their like bar during the day because a lot of the businesses are like little bars or little stores. So they would have the bar in front of their home during the day. And once like 8 p.m. hit on a weekday, that was when curfew was. This one particular bar close to our dorm would close the front, shut it down, make it look like it was complete. If you went in the back, there were bar tables, everything was open, you could like relax, and they would keep it open for as long as somebody was there with the key. So
nice.
they like curfew would be 8 p.m., but people would be leaving the bar like 6 a.m. and
That's
and it
not social
wasn't just like a
distancing, man.
it's not, but because of the way they handled the situation from the start, I don't think they hit. I think now they probably just hit 300 cases on the
Mm,
island in
okay.
total. And they've had I think about 7 deaths, but it was, quite old elderly people. They were 80s, 90s. So the likelihood that they would survive COVID, unfortunately, was already low.
Mm,
However, they have maintained such a strict policy. Their contact tracing is 10 to none. Like they had a Jeep and they were picking up people in the street. Like
oh wow.
that's how intense. So after a while, once like the fear of COVID kind of died down, and especially once the airport closed, I personally, and I'm sure most other people, felt freer to go about their normal lives because no one's coming in that could potentially bring it. And we know for a fact everybody here has been here for a while or has been in quarantine or government, their quarantine is government facility quarantine. Like once you're in there,
Right.
yeah, you either pay for a hotel to be quarantined or you're going to a government facility. So there was never really any cross between anybody be um, that could have COVID with somebody that was already on the island just out. So yeah, the lockdown after a while felt more like let's find a ways to get around it.
Mhm.
We feel relatively safe. But yeah, it was a good experience. I enjoyed it.
Okay. So how was your adjusting to the new normal? Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you turn into an Instagram babe over COVID. Some of these people are catching some COVID pounds. So, how, because you did mention that you had to adjust how you did things, right? And you had to find ways to occupy your time. So, I mean, I guess one of the things was healthy eating and working out because I was following your workout regimens and I was tired within the first few minutes. So,
Well, so my thing, I used to go to the gym. That was my place. I would go in the morning. That was just part of my morning routine. I won't lie, the first few weeks of quarantine were a struggle. I did not work out. I was eating. I don't think I was able to get a lot of things at during my time allowed at the grocery store. So there were like days I was eating funnel cake because I know how to make funnel cake at home. So I was just eating funnel cake just to have something. But after a while, I got tired of you can feel kind of icky. I That's the best word I can think of right now. When you eat too much junk, you kind of feel sluggish, and that's where I got to. And so I started to look on Instagram for like different workout options because as much as I do work out, I know what I know. Like I know to deadlift with a barbell. I know to do something else like dumbbells. But as far as like modifying those for home workouts, that was a bit difficult for me. So on YouTube or Instagram rather, I did see a lot of people using cinder blocks as weights or things around their house to lift. And so a friend of mine, Lydia, that I mentioned earlier, we started taking our book bags. We weren't using them anyway, not going anywhere. So we would put like cans of beans or cans of things into the book bag and then use cinder blocks for like other things and just do little workouts around the house. Instagram was like my personal trainer and it was great. Also, being in Barbados, just getting to most places includes a lot of walking. And I think that helped. I would be walking like 3 miles a day sometimes just to get to a grocery store and come back.
okay.
And you're holding your stuff. Not, you could also take a cab, but at the same time, it's like $20 for a cab or a 10-minute walk. That might be like 3 miles. So, you pick your
Gotcha.
battle.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how about everything else? I mean, I know I called you out on the IG stuff, but how did the rest of life adjust for you? Because I know you were in school, and last you said going into COVID, you were finalizing an exam, and then school's out, summertime in Barbados. I mean, probably the best place to be. Right? So, were you schooling all year round at that point? And so there was maybe small spurts of vacation and then still going back to school?
Yeah, we had school all year round throughout summer too. So, which was actually, I'm glad we did because it filled up the time. Um, Unfortunately, because of COVID, even though it was safer in Barbados, they still weren't doing large gatherings. So every event was canceled. Everything from what is it? Crop over canceled. Everything leading up to crop over was canceled. Everything after crop over was canceled. Little parties, like little club, like events were canceled. Everything was dead. So being in school kind of gave us gave us a structure to follow, which for me was helpful. I know I need structure throughout the day with without it, I'm just like, what do I do?
Funnel
so
cake.
funnel cake, pretty much. Make funnel cake and watch Rick and Morty. That's like my day.
There you go.
But but with school, it gave us like a more rigid structure, which also ultimately helped me with like the working out and staying healthy, because I'm just like, I'm still doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm still going to school. That's my job. I do that. So everything else stays the same as well. Once school was out, that was when the gravity of quarantine hit, because there's nothing going on. There's nothing outside, nothing inside. Like Netflix becomes your friend. I was at the beach every day, every single day for no reason.
Oh, poor you, poor you. You're at the beach all the time. I feel so bad for you having a beach life.
I know, because you're up north, it doesn't it seems like like first world problems.
Yes, first world problems. I don't feel bad for your beach life at all.
you know, of see comparing like other quarantine stories, I will say mine was pretty good considering.
Okay.
So it was
Okay.
compared to others, yes, it's pretty good.
And And so, you mentioned your mom, you're usually her plus one. How was she feeling during this time? When things locked down, during, and then now, how her mindset changed, knowing that Barbados is probably safer than coming back to Miami. That still today, Florida, there's memes out there how COVID is upset at Florida because Florida still refuses to wear a mask. So
I don't understand it. I don't understand. um, but no, my mom, like for the most part, maintained that it was probably safer in Barbados. Just seeing the numbers are night and day from what's here to what's over there. I still get updates, and I think this morning, like they'll send. It's so few cases over there, that they'll send an update every morning saying these people got cases, this is how old they are, this is where they came from, they're now in quarantine, like we already got them there in quarantine, just so you know. And
nice,
then they'll give
nice.
you an update of how many people are currently in quarantine, how many people have left, how many people were tested that day. It's just so structured, and seeing that, I think, gave her more comfort in knowing that I was there over here, especially during the height of it, or the height of the paranoia. So
Mhm.
I know I felt more comfortable being there, especially seeing what I was seeing on the news, or like my friends back home, seeing them like locked down for months and months. I'm like, can't
It's
relate.
crazy. It's crazy out here, I tell you. So you're currently back stateside,
Yes.
all right? So does that mean tourism has opened up for Barbados, or
Mhm.
they're just letting specific people in and out?
No, tourism is open. Everything is open. The only caveat is you either need a PCR, a negative PCR, or you're going to be quarantined until you receive a negative result. So,
Gotcha.
if anyone's planning to travel to Barbados, make sure you have that. My friend recently, another classmate of mine, went not too long ago to spend Christmas there, and she flew out, I believe, on the 21st. But because she didn't have a negative exam result within 3 days but prior to her arrival, she had to quarantine in a hotel. Or she
Mm,
paid to quarantine in a hotel rather than the government facility. And she had to wait until and get retested until she got a negative result and was able to leave the
okay.
property. So that's just one thing to keep in mind when traveling there. It has to be a PCR test, and it has to be within 72 hours of travel. But other than that, tourism is open, but not cruises. Cruises are not there. There are ships out
Not,
there, but they are not moving.
not for a long time, a long time.
Not at
So
all.
So with life changing and us having to live in COVID, and you just moving back home, coming back. So are you back home for good, or you're here on a break just to get back?
It's kind of up in the air because of COVID. Right
Okay.
now, our next semester will be virtual.
Okay.
So whatever happens with COVID, whatever our school decides will determine where I go next. I'm hoping we stay. Like I love the island life, but I need some time in the States for a while.
You need to
So
open and you need the convenience. That's what it
yes,
is, right?
yes. You don't know how much I've ordered Uber Eats and DoorDash because since I've been here,
And
just
plus,
to have it.
a home cooked meal, a home cooked meal, a Haitian meal is nothing that's substituted. You know what I mean?
I think about your mom's Lalo often.
I will remind her. She just. I have a big container of it at the house right
Oh,
now. Look, we'll find a way to freeze dry and send it out to you.
please,
Uh,
please.
I'm gonna ask this question. So like coming back stateside, what was the process like for you to leave from from Barbados to come here? Was it you needed to get a COVID test? You needed to do a series of things, or because you're a U.S. citizen, you got carte blanche to do what you wanted to do?
I don't know if it was because I was a US citizen, but it doesn't seem like the US really has many sanctions on travel. I did not need a negative test. I did not need, the only thing I needed were based on rules set by the airline. That was to
Hmm.
have a face mask. That was it. Didn't need anything.
I feel so safe right now.
Right? I was concerned. I was in the customs line, like, wait.
But I think from a country that has so few cases, so few widespread cases, I think there were exceptions for you all. But still, I look,
Mm.
Mimi, I know you cool and all, but we gonna get this PCR from you, or you
Oh
gonna have to
yeah,
quarantine for a couple days. You know what I mean?
just you best believe. As soon as I landed, my mom was like, "Next day, go ahead. They got free
Hey,
testing."
exactly, exactly. So with the new normal of PCRs going everywhere to pretty much go anywhere now, and masks and being COVID conscious, has that changed the way you plan to travel moving forward?
Yes, a bit. I would usually like if, especially if I was doing like a vacation thing with my friends, it would be like, let's go places where they have like the most activity, the most parties, like where it's most lit. Now I'm just like, do I really want to do that? Like, do I want to be around that many people? Because thinking, like, when I think about it, I'm like, well, maybe not too bad. But then I take a simple trip to Walmart and I'm like, this is too many people. This is way too many people here.
Right,
So
right.
I think moving forward, I'll probably be more conscious as far as where I go, how, especially with the accommodations. I'll be checking if they have at least listed that they're taking COVID uh, measures, because granted, I won't know for sure if
Right.
they are, but I feel at least if they list it, there's some chance that that's happening, and I'll still wipe down Lysol, all of that before getting too comfortable. But yes, moving forward, I'm going to be more conscious as far as how I book to be safe from COVID or whatever else may be out there.
So does your travel tips change now versus what they would have been before?
Not necessarily. My tips are still the same, just with the added note: be conscious of where you're going. If make sure it's clean. Probably check for. One thing I have been doing is checking for like the daily rates of COVID, how that's changing, or just even the hospitalization rate.
Hmm.
Because I noticed it's not just the getting COVID, it's being able to find treatment.
Right.
So if I go somewhere and I didn't check that their hospitals are already overrun, God forbid something happens, not even COVID, I'm screwed either way. Like I can't get to a
Right.
hospital to get treatment. So I think that would be an additional tip that I would add. Just
So
take
what
a
are
glance,
what
make sure.
so what would be the other
Good.
tips? So we know we got now the COVID conscious things. What's Mimi's top 5 tips for travel?
Plan ahead. Definitely. I am very much a fan of wanderlust, but I feel like there should be some level of structure to your plan. Don't just like drop in the middle of a country and not know where you're gonna stay or where you're gonna eat or what you're gonna do. Have like a base. Go when you're planning a trip to go somewhere. Have a base of operation, essentially,
Gotcha.
wherever it is that you're staying, whatever the case is. Um, so that was two. Plan ahead. Have a base. Three. If you're going with friends, decide together. Pick a place that everyone's comfortable with, because nothing will ruin a trip more than having a group of friends and one or two that are just like, I didn't even want to come here. Like, I don't, why are we here? So, you know, compromise is key in that
Gotcha.
respect. Let's see, what else? I travel with my pet often.
I
So
he's quiet. I haven't seen him at all. Hey, superstar.
she actually
Very
walks
quiet.
around. Yeah, she's pretty good. But as far as pets, another tip, they have changed the requirements for pets on planes. I usually travel with her as an emotional support animal, and they are no longer allowed as far as of January 1st or January
Oh.
4th. So, tip, get them to be a service animal of any other kind. um, if and what is recognized as a thing for them, because I would use her for anxiety. Granted, I have the anxiety, but not to the extent that I would really need a dog. But um, that is also a, a reason for a regular service dog. You can have service dog for anxiety, depression, whatever it is, but get them registered as a service dog to avoid basically $500 round trip for a dog
Wow,
or a
that's
cat. Yeah, I know we're not like I know some people may be balling like that, but I'm not. I'm not about to drop half a grand for a dog to go on a plane. But
You're about to see puppy daycare.
right.
It might actually
So
that might cost just about the same. So depending
it
on where you are.
could. Yeah, in Miami, it's all about like little foo-foo dogs too. So
Yep,
it would
yep.
be expensive. Okay, and number 5, I'll bring the things that you know you need with you because not every country will have them. For the longest time, while I was in Barbados, I'm assuming before they got used to the influx of American students, I needed Pedialyte because if I'm feeling nauseous, whatever the case is, Pedialyte is my go-to. There was no Pedialyte anywhere, none. Like to find Pedialyte, I had to drive like 45 minutes to a Costco version store to buy it in bulk to have for like 6 months.
They got
So,
those packets now. So just remember they got the dry Pedialyte packets.
yeah, see, and I wasn't thinking that when I packed to go. I was like, everybody has Pedialyte. I'll be able to find Pedialyte, and I could not.
Thank you. I'm about to go to CVS to get me some Pedialyte right now because I'm going on this trip and I want to
Mhm.
stay hydrated. There you go.
Exactly. So yeah, those are my tips, I guess.
Awesome, awesome. So I would ask what's going on, what you got coming up, but what you got coming up is maybe what graduation in another year, or when is graduation for you?
Like a year and a half. But yes,
Okay, a
coming
year and a
soon.
half.
Yes.
Woo! Time flies.
I know. It's about time though. I'm tired.
Because it seems like just yesterday you graduated college, then you started your post college program, and then you got into this awesome program that took you away from us, right? And now you're back shortly, hopefully for a little longer than we would expect. But if you got to go
I
back,
hope
we
so.
understand. You have a couch for some of us to sleep on. I'm game. I'm here. I'm here for it
Of
all.
course, always,
You
always.
know. Um, so so where can people find your amazing workout videos and progress?
So Instagram is basically where I post all that. My Instagram is, shoot, what is it? __, KARAMELLL, like caramel with 3 L's.
Okay.
But yeah, I will be posting more workout videos. I did my phone was irrevocably broken not too long ago. I had to get a new one, but now that I have a new one and I'm upgraded, I will be posting more videos and workout content and all that fun stuff. So
And are you still sharing the skincare regimens and stuff like that, or you're
yes.
kind of like over that at this point since you're not in that direction anymore?
Oh no, I still love skincare stuff. I still,
Okay.
I'm all about that. So yes, for sure. Now my goal is like working on just having my skincare, so I'm not going anywhere with makeup. So hopefully
There you go.
I'll
There
send
you
all that
go.
out.
Hey, look, you about to have a whole bunch of people like, girl, what's your regimen? Let me get that real quick. You know what I mean? Who knows? Mimi
Got
skincare
you.
regimen. Yo, look, skincare products coming out the wazoo. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure.
Like, we just hope this United States air and sun and smog doesn't mess up your skincare regimen since it's been accustomed to
Right.
this beautiful Caribbean sun and air.
The Barbados humidity is gone. It's not opening and cleaning my pores anymore.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I've wanted to do this for a while, and so I really thank you for doing this. This was an amazing
Thank you for
conversation
having me.
of your experience, and yeah, hopefully, we get to link up before it's too late. You know what I mean?